They say when it rains, it pours. The rainy season is here and farmers have a sigh of relief as the price of fertilizer drops. The low fertilizer prices will now be experienced after the reintroduction of the subsidy from the government of Kenya. The flagging off of 3.5 billion shillings subsidized fertilizer comes after President William Ruto directed that fertilizer be sold at 3,500 shillings per 50 kg bag, down from 6,500 shillings. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said the government will supply 1.4 million bags of fertilizers to farmers in the country, keeping the campaign promise the Kenya Kwanza coalition gave to Kenyan farmers even as the rain begins to pour.
Dear Kenyans, I'm happy to preside over today's flagging off of DAP subsidized fertilizer destined to various regions of Kenya as a strategic intervention to actualize the Kenya Kwanza promise of affordable farm inputs in our manifesto that was further communicated during our swearing in on Tuesday, 13 September 2022.
During the flagging off, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua stated that the new price review will lower the cost of DAP fertilizer to Kenya shillings 3,500 from 7,000 shillings. CAN will be sold at 2,875, NPK at 3,275, MOP at 1,775, urea 3,500, and sulfate of ammonia will cost 2,220. The quantity availed is expected to support the cultivation of approximately 1.4 million acres.
Agriculture remains the backbone of Kenya's economic and industrial development, particularly in food production, income generation, and provision of raw materials for manufacturing. The government remains committed to achieving sustainable agricultural growth and transforming agriculture from subsistence to a commercially and globally competitive industry.
Gachagua said under this program, the government through the National Cereals and Produce Board (NCPB) will make available 1.4 million bags of 50 kgs of fertilizer to farmers during the ongoing short rain season, and prices are tabulated.
The government has prioritized agriculture as one of the pillars of our economic recovery plan, alongside healthcare and MSMEs development, among others. As a country, we are facing unprecedented high food prices occasioned by both internal and external factors. The government is alive to the high cost of living that has persisted over the past years. The price of maize flour in particular, which is our main staple food, has been high for the better part of this year. Erratic rainfalls, high input costs, particularly fertilizer, among other factors, have led to reduced production of maize and other food crops.
The government is appealing to farmers in the regions that are receiving short rains to reach out to the local National Cereals and Produce Board depots and sub-depots to access the required fertilizer. The government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, said the release of fertilizer is to caution farmers against the high cost of fertilizer being experienced in the country.
As a government, we are focused to increasing agricultural productivity that will lead to increased supply and eventually lower food prices due to the forces of supply and demand. This therefore necessitates the need to ensure that factors of production are affordable to farmers. It is against this background that as a government, we from the very onset spelled out the prioritization of improving agricultural production through an availing affordable and accessible input as an intervention.
The DP flagged off the first consignment of fertilizer on Thursday at Harambee House Annex. The head of state, William Ruto, during his inauguration, promised to avail 1.4 million bags of fertilizer, which would sell for 3,500 Kenya shillings each, compared to the prevailing price of Kenya shillings 6,500. Kind of Stefano, Ebro TV.